Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today's guest is a name you want to get to know if you are in real estate or thinking about building a team. Connor Steinbrook is the founder of the Wolfpack Organization at eXp Realty, which now has over 3,800 agents across all the 50 states in the US and also in every Canadian province and many other countries that this company is at. Connor is one of the top leaders at eXp, having also recruited the #1 agent out of 89,000 for personal agent attraction. His organization sold nearly 10,000 homes in 2022 and is on track to sell even more. Connor has also been recognized as the #2 net growth leader globally at eXp Realty. He has trained thousands of agents and entrepreneurs how to grow, scale, and succeed in this industry. And on top of his real estate success, he also a social media and a YouTube expert with one of the biggest channel in the space with over 40,000 organic followers. And it is not to impress enough. Before real estate, Connor spent 8 years as a top professional poker player, and he has taken those lessons and strategies, mindset, and discipline straight into the business world. This conversation is going to be packed with insights on growth, leadership, social media, and how to build one of the fastest growing real estate teams in the world. So stick around, you don't want to miss this one. Hey everybody, as I already been sharing on my little introduction, I am just so honored and blessed to have Connor Steinbrook today here with the podcast. He might not know that, but he has changed my life in this last 3 years, just, showing up every Monday to his calls, even when things were high and when things were low, but especially when things were low, that's what it was like my oxygen in this industry. So I am super excited that you get to hear from him as well, not only what I say. So Connor, thank you so much for being here today. It is such an honor and pleasure that you're taking the time, because I know you're always busy on the road.
Yeah, of course, Amanda, anything for you. And those are very nice words, but it's all you. You've been the one battling through in this tough market, and we may talk about that a little bit, but thank you for the good words, and let's see if we can share some for the group.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I share your accolades and all the high achieving things you have done so far. But if you can just take us a little bit back of who's Connor? How did you get here? And then we'll go from there.
Well, I'm known for talking fast, so hang on to your ears, guys. But I'm going to go through my story really quick, and then we'll get caught up into the good stuff. But I grew up in Dallas, Texas. I was highly involved in sports when I was a young kid, super competitive. So I played football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, and soccer. And then once high school hit, looking at college, I didn't really have a path to play sports after that. I had some bad injuries and things like that. And so basically I was no longer having my nights occupied. And what happened as a freshman in college, Chris Moneymaker, some of you guys know, won the World Series of Poker on TV. And I was like, oh my gosh, he took $40 and satellited into a big tournament and made millions of dollars and was just this average guy. I can do that. And so I kind of got caught up in the online poker wave at the very beginning of that. And I was part of the big poker boom. And so from 2003 to 2011, I became one of the top online poker players in the world. And then I found out a lot of hard lessons as a young kid. The big one of having one income stream, because some of you guys know on April 15, 2011, it was called Black Friday. Government intervention happened and the big websites were shut down. I think it was like the UGIE Act or whatever it was called. But essentially I spent 10 years developing a skill set, and only one skill set and one income stream. And I woke up from one day to the next and it was completely gone. And this was a very tough time for me because I had lost my identity. I got to a very low point. I really didn't know where I was going in life. I thought I was going to be doing this forever. And my vision, imagine you guys having a strong vision, it just completely disappeared. And what was tough was I just finally got to the point where I felt like things were paying off. And now I had this whole life stolen from me. So it put a big bitter taste in my mouth at a young age. And so for a couple of years, I kind of floated around trying to play live poker and realized it wasn't going to work. And so while I was playing live poker, I saw patterns of wealthy people. I saw people that had built big businesses that were playing high stakes poker. They were all in real estate. They had all built big teams. They had big insurance businesses, things like this. So I said, maybe poker's not the best way to get to the lifestyle that I want. Let me go into business. So I first started out in insurance. And then I did that for a little bit. I joined a company called World Financial Group. Some of you guys know Ed Milet. I started building a little team there. I just really didn't click with the insurance industry. Not that it's not the best for everybody, but just for me, it wasn't working. And then I really wanted to build passive income. So I was going down heavy self-development at this time. And what was going on was I was reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I realized my freedom comes from passive or residual income streams. And that's when I wanted to buy rental properties. So I hopped into the real estate investing side of the industry, but I wasn't bank financeable at the time. So I started out doing what's called wholesaling houses. So I started getting houses under contract and flipping the contracts to other investors. Then I watched what those house flippers did. And then I was able to start raising money. I started making a little bit of money doing that after a long struggle. And then what happened was I went from a pretty solid flipping business to building my rental portfolio up. And then I realized that was cash flow, but it wasn't as much residual as I wanted. So I moved into the owner finance note space. I started creating owner finance notes, selling notes and things like that, doing land deals. And I did a lot in the single family residential space. And I built a successful real estate investment company here in North Texas. And then that led me eventually to YouTube. Some of you guys know I built the YouTube channel Investor Army. At one point, it was top 5 in North America. And on that channel, I just talked about single family residential strategies. And then because I put myself out there on YouTube, that's what eventually led people to reaching out to me about eXp Realty. And for years, people were blowing me up. Hey, have you heard about this company, eXp? I wanted to talk to you about eXp, but I wasn't a licensed agent at the time. And so finally, what happened after years of blowing off the company, I was speaking at a big owner financing investment conference in Jackson, Mississippi. And the event promoter, the person holding the event, put me up into a speaker's property, kind of like an Airbnb. And one of the guys staying there was the #1 leader at eXp, Rob Flick, some of you guys know at the time. And I was able to stay with him for 3 days. And that's when I saw the power of eXp's business model, that he built a 6-figure residual monthly income in just a few years. And I couldn't hold back. It was kind of a no-brainer that I needed to do this. And I went out there and got my real estate license. And then I joined eXp right as 2018 started. So I'm coming up on my 8-year anniversary here. And my first year, I sponsored 40 agents in the company, and we turned into a little bit over 150 agents. Second year, we doubled to 300, doubled again to 600, then to 1,400. And now we're currently sitting over 3,600 agents globally, almost 30 nations, fastest growing real estate organization globally at eXp currently right now. And we're known as the Wolfpack Organization. So if you guys have seen us out there, heard about us, we're open to have you guys come work with us. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's how I got to meet people like Amanda and work with Amanda, who's been great. She's been with us for years now and developed a great partnership and a friendship. And so that's a quick rundown. Hopefully I got it all out, but that's how I got here.
No, it is amazing, but honestly, even through the struggles, right, to where you at today, it just shows so much resilience and you know, I know it was a lot more deeper there, you know, when you went through finding out that poker's not going to be your forever dream, just doing that. But it's still like, you know, you are aware of your surroundings. It just sounds a very young age. Like what, you know, who are the wealthy people in this room? What are they doing? And you're asking the right questions. So just with that, like, how do you feel like you know, that could be obviously a little bit, maybe your personality and whatnot, but how did you like at a young age start like, you know, paying attention in the room? Because I feel like sometimes people just want to be noticed instead of, you know, taking a step back and reading the room, you know, who are here, what are they doing, you know, how they talk. And I feel like you're so good about that. So how did that, you know, shift or that learning pattern started for you?
I mean, the first thing is you can't be learning if you're talking. So I learned early on that if I'm always talking, I'm not learning from others. And I learned my value in life comes from what I know and what I've acquired as far as knowledge and wisdom. And so if I'm always teaching people, I can't be learning from others. And the other thing was just as I was growing up, I grew up in an area called Plano West here in Plano, Texas. Some of you guys know the Wolfpack brand. I went to Plano West, our high school brand was the Wolfpack. So in sports, it's run together, win together. It's kind of where I brought that from. But Plano West is kind of, so there's East, Central, and West. And West is kind of like the upcoming area. And, you know, I have great parents. They didn't do as well financially as a lot of the people in the area. But there was kids getting like Porsches for their 16th birthday. And if they'd wreck it, they get a nicer car after it. That's the type of area I kind of grew up in. So I grew up around all this wealth. I drive through these neighborhoods of these $1 million houses, and there's so many around. Not all of them could be trust fund babies. Not all of them could be cocaine dealers and drug dealers and all this stuff. So I'm like, somehow these people figured it out. And I know, you know, I may not be the smartest, but I'm definitely not the dumbest. I can figure it out too. If all these other people figured it out, how do they do it? So I realized there's time plus accumulation of skill sets plus never giving up. They just figured it out. And so around this time also, when I hit rock bottom, so this is a lesson I learned along the way, I came across what's called the law of polarity, which states there has to be an opposite to everything in this world, up and down, left and right, inside, outside, day and night. And so when I realized this, I realized there's no such thing as a negative moment in life unless we attach our belief system to it. So for example, when the poker career went out at the moment, to go back to my adversity, it was so tough on me, I actually almost took my life. I battled suicidal thoughts for well over a year, and most people didn't know that around me, but it was something that I was all alone doing because it wasn't that I wanted to do it, it's just that I thought my best days were behind me and my future was not worth living, essentially, and there's a trap that I got caught in. And so this moment that I thought was the worst moment in my life, the law of polarity, now looking back in hindsight, was the single best moment that ever happened to me. It was a blessing from God, because if I had stayed down that trajectory, I would have never gone into real estate. I never would have been able to be where I'm at right now. And so you don't see these things while you're in the midst of the storm. You only see them looking back after you pass the storm and look back at it. But I'd encourage you guys to understand that no matter what adversity you're going through, this is to sharpen you, and this is how God uses us, and this is how God breaks us down and rebuilds us. But during that time, I'd walked away from my faith for a long time, and I started praying again. That was the first step. And then the other thing that happened during that dark window, those dark years of my life, was I came across Napoleon Hill's black and white recordings of his 17 principles of success. So these two things happened simultaneously and led me down the path of personal growth. And what I realized was about myself was I'm broken now, and I'm not someone that could be successful today. But what about if I could be someone that's strong enough to hold success tomorrow? Well, how do I increase my strength at the gym? Well, I go to the gym day in, day out, work out with little weights enough to build strength, to get a little bit stronger, to work out with bigger weights, work out to get a little stronger through repetition and pushing against resistance to get a little stronger. And eventually I can hold the weight that I didn't think I could hold at one point. And our brains work and grow the same way as our physical body, through repetition and pressing against resistance. So you guys have to push yourself up against the wall to break yourself down, to rebuild yourself stronger. And most people don't want to face that adversity. They get it in the gym where they know that last rep's tough, but they go to that last rep because that's the rep that builds, right? And so I really realized that I started to create a vision of myself, kind of like a video game character, which is, how do I go through life and acquire skill sets like a Zelda? I like to play Zelda when I was little. I grab a magic potion, I grab a special bow and arrow. Well, these are the skill sets you acquire in life. You're going to grab communication skill sets, how to raise money, how to communicate properly, understanding time management, time leverage, how to, leadership skill sets. And as you acquire each skill set, you're improving your strength and the power that you have in the world. And as your power and strength gets bigger, you can hold more, and bigger blessings come, and you can achieve more. So the main thing I'd encourage you guys, if you're in business right now, is you may not be winning today because you're not strong enough today. You don't have the skill sets today, but that's because you don't have them yet. Acquire them, and guess what? Tomorrow you'll be strong enough to lift the way to success. And that was just always in my mindset, is improve, stack on skill sets, keep adding different value sets to my life. And at some point, it'll all add up and it'll work out. And that's what happens. So I'd encourage you guys to keep that mindset and keep building skill sets, keep acquiring skill sets, and keep constantly focusing on developing yourself personally.
And honestly, that I feel like that is the biggest thing, has been for me, being real estate. And I feel like very lucky because day one, I've been part of the right group. So I don't have burns out. So sorry, everybody else, you still have a chance.
How to get there.
we're here. It is so true because, especially when you come in an industry that you knew, like I was, I've been in business, but real estate, it was through a whole new world, new language. And, everybody sees me like, I love to talk and things like that, but it's different when I'm just having fun versus now I need to be like talking about business. And I used to just like fear the word sell. I'm like, I don't want to sell anything, And that shift really came by joining the calls because, like that proximity, what are you hearing people saying? And, that was something that you always talked about. It's just like, we are all selling something, every day. But yeah. So it was just like little things that you start, thinking about it. And then, you remove some of those fears or, holdbacks. And because I feel like this business can truly be anything you ever wanted. But most of the time we are the ones that are holding ourselves back more than anybody else. Because people are going to say something, have an opinion every day and every time about anything that you do. And how do you know, like with all these transitions and everything, especially for agents, Real estate market, we can hear it's been tough, it's been hard. I mean, I go through that sometimes with some other agents. And I personally, I'm not saying that things are always easy, but I really try really hard not to concentrate or put my energy and attention on the tough things, because it's robbing the energy that I need to show up, in front of my clients when they're the ones doubting, and I'm gonna be like, no, we got this, we're gonna find. So like, how has been that, if you can just share your thoughts on just like, that shifting up on the mindset and the energy, where we at with, all the noise on the industry.
Yeah. So the first thing is like, to go back on like sales, everything in life is a battle of influence and sales. Every day you're being sold and you're selling people. If you have children, you're selling them and they're trying to sell you. Everybody's trying to influence each other. Your spouse is trying to influence you. Our partners are trying to influence us. Third-party companies are trying to influence you to buy from them. Influence in sales is the center of all relationships and communities and businesses. So just understand that. So as you understand that, you're going to focus more on making sure that you work on your communication abilities, your emotional intelligence, your body language, and all sorts of things that are going to add up over time as skill sets to make you successful. Now, as far as like, the tough market and kind of how to navigate through it, I just had this mindset that I understood that there's cycles in life. It goes up and down, and that I don't want to wait just after an upcycle for years to wait, for the down cycle to end before I can win again. So I just had this committed mindset that all I can do is I can control my activity. So I can't control what's happening in the external world around me, but I control what's happening in the internal world, which is my thoughts, my focus, my standards, my disciplines, and my habits. And so I said, every day I'm just going to wake up and go to work. And I'm going to put my hours in. And so my goal is to hit my hourly efforts on a daily basis. So I can't control if there's a new law change. I can't control if a company changes a policy. I can't control if, war starts. I can't control, if interest rates go up and down. This is not my job. My job is to show up every day and do the best I can with the hours I'm putting into that day. And so also, when I came into business, I was right in the middle of coming out of the '08 crash. And so I came in like a very tough time, but I didn't understand that I was in a tough time. It was just the time I came in. And so the experience happening to me lifetime was just my experience. And so I just thought that that's how it was. And so when things got easier, I realized, wow, it can actually get easier coming out of this. But also I had success in that down market. What I realized is that if you work hard and you're focused, it doesn't matter what the market is around you. It could be an up market, a down market, you're going to make money in it. And as you guys acquire skill sets and knowledge in business, think about the stock market. The market goes down, you can trade options. You can short the market. You can make money in an up market and down market. In fact, if you're good at investing and you're good at, you have high skill sets in business, you can actually make more money in a down market than you could ever in an up market. It's just, you don't understand that when you're fresh in the business. So I understood early on that the external noise isn't going to dictate my future, and my efforts do. And I'm going to show up on a daily basis and just do what I can. And the result's going to be what it's going to be. And that sometimes it's going to be better than others. Some wins are going to be big. Some aren't going to be as big. Some years are going to be great. Some aren't going to be that great. But there's no way in life that you're going to have great years every year. And so on the bad years, I just try to stay emotionally sound, meaning don't get frustrated. Just understand, what you signed up for. It's like a UFC fighter. It's like if they get sad that they're getting punched in the face, it's like, what you signed up for. So just guys understand that business, especially, is a long-term journey. If you're going to be in business for 30, 40, 50 years, you're going to have how many up cycles and down cycles. So mentally conditioning yourself for the acceptance of what you're going into makes it a lot easier as you go through it. And over the past 3 or 4 years, a lot of people have been struggling. Their incomes have been lower, but their work has been higher, and it's very tough, right? But understanding that things do get better and times can improve helps you understand. But how to know when they're going to improve, that's what you need to learn. And right now we're about to see an improvement in the marketplace, as you guys know, because interest rates are about to come down. So as they cut interest rates, what's going to happen? You're going to see sales pick up. You're going to see more people enter the industry. You're going to see a lot of things go up as far as asset values. You're going to see stocks go up. You're going to see cryptos go up. You're going to see house values go up. And part of the reason for that is if interest rates are lower, think about giant corporations and these big institutional investors. They can borrow money cheaper. And so when big companies can borrow hundreds of billions of dollars cheaper, what are they going to do with it? They're going to invest it back in the marketplace for a return. And that's what's going to drive all these market stuff. So there's a lot of good things coming. So just focus on what you can do on a daily basis. Know that good times will be there at some point. And when you're in them, forget, it's an old movie. The movie's by Johnny Depp. It's called Blow. A lot of people watched back in the 90s. In the very beginning of that movie, I forget how he says it. He's talking about a quote his dad's given him. Says, When you're in good times, something seems good enough, but when you're on bottom, it never seems like you're going to be on top again. But it's basically talking about the cycles of life. It's a very important line. I butchered it a little bit, but you get the premise of it. And so it just means keep going until the upswing happens. But also when the downswing happens, sharpen your sword, because this is when you build the mindset that explodes your business when you're in the upcycle. Because if you can win when it's tough, you're going to annihilate the world and dominate when it's easy. So just know these tough times are also a blessing because of law of polarity. This is not something happening to you, it's happening for you. And so you're building a strength that you could never in an easy time and when things are soft. So just know that you're building your strength in bad markets to capitalize them on good markets.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is definitely everything. And I think you said a lot of good things there, but it's just showing up, right? You're showing up every day when it's good, when it's bad, when it's okay. That is what is the difference, because people are watching, right? They're watching. Like, do you just show up when you have the glorious moments, or you're still showing up when maybe you don't have a big story to share? And your win can means you just got up and you show up. And that is huge, right? So just kind of continue on that with just like, where it seems like there's a lot of positive things coming that we haven't heard in a while, right? Which is interest rate and things like that. What would you, suggest for, because I mean, I feel like some people, even though we're already end of August, it feels like their January hasn't hit yet. They're just like on a slow mo and a slow walk. And then all of this, possibilities that is just ahead of us in the next month here, right? Because something can happen and blow up in September. And with all the things that you said, how do you start preparing yourself so you don't feel like, all of a sudden you go from a slow mo to a sprint? Just like, what should things that you should be, if someone is feeling stuck right now, like, what to get ready and excited for, what's ahead of us?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to build a runway. So planes don't take off and go straight up. That's what a rocket does. And so you have to start building that energy momentum right now. So there's what's called the echo effect, meaning what you do today shows up in your life 60, 90, 180 days later. So if you not eating good and not working out in the gym and you put on a lot of weight, which we all do, we fluctuate through life. So our body goes through cycles too. And it just everything in life cycles. But if you all of a sudden change your diet and start eating right, sleeping right, and going to the gym, guess what's going to happen in the next 6 months? Your body's going to reflect the changes. So we have a slowdown. So everything you guys see happening in your current life right now is because the results of the time and energy and the seeds that you planted in the ground months ago. So whatever you guys are, if you're not having good results right now, it's because you weren't doing the right thing months ago, not really because you're not doing it right now. And if good things are happening right now, it's because you're doing the right things a few months ago to build momentum. But you can't just flip a switch and it just happens. So if you know the future is coming, like we're seeing interest rates dropping, you want to start building that momentum right now. And the easiest way to time a market, because everybody's like, how do you time the market? And it's always confused me when people say that. I want to time the market. I'm like, I'm just going to stay in the market 24/7 for my whole life in business, and I'll time the market perfectly every time the market goes up. And also time the market perfectly, unfortunately, every time the market goes down. But I'm not leaving the market. So that's how you hit the maximum upside. So if you're on the day one, when the market turns and you're on all the way to the last day of that market cycle, it could be years, it could be 5 to 10 years, you're going to not miss that opportunity. But what happens is most people sit on the sideline and wait. They're like, I'm going to wait till the market heats up. I'm going to wait till everybody says it's okay to go work. No, you got to work when everybody says it's dangerous to work right now. This is when people are running towards the fire while everybody's running away. You've heard that analogy. And that's why people get paid off exponentially, is they didn't leave the marketplace while everybody else did. So you see a lot of people frustrated and leaving the industry. This just creates more opportunity for those of you guys that stay in it. But as far as, capitalizing on what's coming forward, start today and put as much time in as you can today, and then do it again tomorrow. So my belief system is the fastest way to get to any point in life is a straight line. So the fastest way is a straight line in business is all day, every day. How many hours can you work today? And so literally I was that eat, sleep, work type of person, still kind of am. And I know people don't, that can be a little bit overwhelming in their mind at the time when they first start business. But what I see as burnout causes a lot of entrepreneurs, agents in our case, to stop, because in the beginning they hear these things, they have to increase their work hours and put more time in, but as they do it, they are exhausted, they can't do it. So it's like if you've been out of shape for years and you try to run a mile, but you can't do it. You definitely couldn't run 5, and for sure not a marathon. But as you work a little bit and each day and each month you continue this work ethic, your endurance and your stamina picks up. And so after doing this for a year or two, a 16-hour day is just going to be normal for you guys. It just feels bad right now because you haven't conditioned yourself to do it. And so that's what I encourage you guys to understand is you need to increase the hours that you work, and then the skill sets and the skill sets that you have of those hours that you work, so that you accomplish more in those hours. So you're increasing the efficiency of hours worked, but you're also increasing the total hours worked, which is going to increase your results. But I would say build a runway now and start building yourself, start acquiring skill sets, analyze yourself, what you're lacking, where you feel like you're not strong enough, and attack those areas of your life. And then analyze how many hours a week you're working and increase it by at least 20%. And that's a good start. And then also just focus on understanding that your thoughts create your future, and create a vision around what you're trying to accomplish, and make it a ritual daily around that vision to always hold in your mind and never deviate from it. Because that's the other thing that people struggle with success is they start one direction and they change and go a different direction, and they change it to go a different direction, and they never stay on that one path, which if they had, they would have achieved it. But there's a lot of opportunity coming, even though right now the storm seems dark, the sky's going to part and the sun's going to come out, and we're about to see that happen. But you have to build that runway right now, and you have to build your skill sets and your strength and your ability to handle success, so that when it comes, you can actually go to the gym and lift that weight. So I'll be working on yourself and also increasing those hours right now and building momentum into what we're about to see.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. And you touch on one word there that I feel like that was what I was hoping for us to touch. It's just like, goal visualization, because I know you're really big about that. So if you can just like share a little bit, I know maybe someone won't be like going from zero to what you do, but I think it's so powerful, how your goal visualizing it as well. Like, how do you got to that, and how that has like, changed your life? Because I know a lot of your goals on your wall, it is happening, and there's more to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's so Napoleon Hill, one of his famous lines in his book, Think and Grow Rich, is whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve. And if you break that down, everything in life comes from an intellectually first, into an emotionally second, into a physically having third. So if you think about what I just said, you start out intellectually, then move emotionally, then physically. So you have to have the idea in the mind first. You can't create something that you can't think about. So if you think about like this painting on the wall behind me, if someone didn't see that in their mind, they could not paint it on the wall. Like the Mona Lisa didn't just show up in the world. Someone had to have the idea in the mind. I'm going to paint a picture. And then they had to say, what am I going to paint? They had to visually see it first to take it from their mind and imprint it on paper. So it doesn't matter how good your painting skill sets are if you don't have vision to do it. So if you look at Napoleon saying the conception of thought, whatever the mind can conceive. So everything starts in the mind first. Our mind is what separates us from every other thing on this world that's living as well as non-living. So a can can't think. Like I have a can right next to me. A bird can't do it. Animals can't do it. Only you can do it. You have a conscious thought process. So you decide what you want in life. Your mind is the generation system of your future. So whatever you focus on, you're going to move towards. You've heard people talk about the law of attraction. It's more of the law, should be law of forward focus, meaning whatever you focus on, you're going to move towards. So first you have to have the idea. I'm going to be an astronaut, an attorney. I'm going to be a real estate agent, right? So the conception of the mind. So the conception of the thought in the mind. So you have to be able to conceive that thought first in the visualization side of it. Now you have to believe in that thought, right? So this is where a lot of people struggle. So there's two things we need to have as far as belief systems: an undying belief system in who we are as an individual, that no matter what happens, I'm going to push through and continue on. I'm going to be able to make it happen. But also the belief system in the vehicle that we're going to choose. So you have to know that your car is going to get you to your family's house if you're going to go out on the highway, right? You have to know that the vehicle is going to get you. You have to know that eXp is going to get you there. You're going to have to know that the insurance industry or the restaurant. So once you believe in yourself with a full belief system and the full belief system of what you're doing, this is going to drive your energy and it's going to push you past risk. But if you don't believe in what you're doing, it doesn't matter. And if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter. But if you believe in what you're doing, say, being an attorney is the best way to your success, and you truly believe that, but you don't believe in yourself first, it doesn't matter how much you believe in the vehicle, you're going to sit down when it gets tough, and every vehicle is tough to drive. So the first thing is build yourself, but belief comes next. You have to have the emotional involvement into what you're doing. You never see anybody achieve anything at a high level without obsession and passion. And so if you think about it, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, and now I'm talking about emotionally or intellectually to emotionally to physically, now you have the emotional involvement. When we emotionally tie ourselves to stuff, we put our heart into it. When we put our heart into it, God gets behind it. If we don't have our full intensity into what we're doing, why would we ever be able to achieve it, right? So most people just want to get into business. They're like, I'll try this for a couple months, and if it works out, then I'll really go for it. No, you go for it the day that you stepped into it already in your mind. You say, I'm doing this and it's going to work out no matter what. It's not, if I start to see it kind of work out, I'll stick with it. It's going to work out no matter what, and I'm going to make it work out. That's the difference. So you first, whatever the mind can conceive, create the visualization, the seed in the mind that you plant in the ground. Full belief behind it drives the energy into it. And if you stay consistent through the adversities and the obstacles and the turns that we face along the journey to success, you can achieve it. And then the physical having, intellectually to emotionally to physical. Now the thought and the mind, the vision, I have this business, I want to build this big organization, I want to, win world titles, I want to catch a giant bass, which is my hobby, whatever your goals are for you. First, you had the visualization process. You said, this is in my mind, this is what I want to put in the world, this is what I want to have. And then you tie your belief system to it with intense emotional attachment along the journey, which is going to keep you going through the adversity window. And then eventually that business is going to be there, the house is going to be there, the family is going to be there, the thing that you wanted is going to actually show up physically in the world if you stay on path and on track long enough through consistency and discipline and overcoming all those adversities and sacrificing the necessary things you need to along the way.
Yeah, no, that is pretty amazing. And what would you say it's your thoughts about balance? I feel like there's this concept, and my mind has changed a lot on that topic, right? Life and work balance, and especially when you have big goals, like how, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, so I think like, what's that, like Days of Our Lives, that old soap opera or whatever, and like that little hour, what's that sand thing? What are the hourglasses?
Oh, yeah.
Like sand sifts through. I kind of look at that as like a balance. And in the beginning, there is no balance. All the sand's up top. And if you really want to build a big business or achieve something at a high level, it's pretty much full focus all the time, all day, every day. And so in the beginning of my business, it was literally, like I said, wake up, work until I couldn't work anymore and go to sleep and do it again. Now, what happens is as you have no balance and focusing on full intensity on what you're doing for a number of years, now let's say you build a big business, now you can start to have more balance in your life because you don't have to be putting so much time into what you did in the beginning. Now you have, let's say you built up a $50K a month residual income or $100,000 a month residual income through a team, rental properties, or whatever it is. Now you can have more time with the family, more time to travel the world, more time to do things. So I think in the beginning of businesses, you should really just say, this is the most important thing. Once I get my mask on, once I get my financial freedom, then I'll decide what I want to do with my life later. So I think a lot of people see, me getting to chase some other goals in my life right now, but they didn't see 15 years of me doing nothing, me waking up sick and tired and literally every day. There's days where like literally I'd wake up and my body wouldn't move and my mind's just like, get up out of bed, and literally my body wouldn't move. And that's a lot of days actually, but you have to put it all on the line, all your time, all your money, all your energy, your heart. You have to take risks. But my belief system is, don't try to have balance in the beginning. This is where people want to start a business and still go out on the weekend with their friends. You're never going to win. They're going to win because they're going to take your life from you. You need to control everything in the beginning of your business. It's a very important part. It's just like a child. You have to do everything for them because a baby can't feed themselves. But as they get a little bit older, they can go to the cupboard and grab a cookie, But in the beginning, it's full hands on deck. All your time, all your focus, all your intentions are on your business. And then as it grows and as you build up, that's when you can start adding more parts of your life, and you can have balance later. And by the time that you've gotten your businesses up, they're already systematized. Like the best business owners are not a part of their business anymore. That's what a business is. You shouldn't be involved every single day micromanaging. If you're doing that in your business, you're not where you need to be at anyways. But don't feel bad if you guys feel like you're missing out on life. I had to miss out on a lot of vacations of friends, and I had to miss out on a lot of things that I wanted to do, but now I get to do the things that I want to do. And a lot of those people that were doing those things early on in life, that were having all these experiences, and it's tough watching people do this. They just chose to do it in the beginning of their life. I chose to do it later in my life. But the difference is, and this is not flat, I'm financially free now. They're still working 9-to-5 jobs and things like this. But it was very frustrating having to say no to everything. But sometimes saying no gives you the ability to say yes to more things later.
Yeah, no, and as you said, you reach your financial freedom, but yet now you have a choice, and you still make a choice to run hard for us, Connor. So,
Yeah.
so impressed, and and I think that's makes the leader that you are. You're not just a talker, as we these days, right, with the social media and everything, everybody can become a coach, right? They can say a few things, but they don't walk even what they say. And I think that's something that it's, definitely, that you do. You don't only tell us or recommend things that you're not already doing yourself, or already done it, and and you have like a full, I feel like you're still very much boots on the ground. So which is like, like today, you're in a hotel, like you couldn't be home. You don't need to do this, but it's because you also are believing in us, and that is just like, and you want to help. So, I think you are definitely inspiring people that, wants to run, hard with you because they see what you do. And so for that, definitely thank you. Well, we're going to be wrapping up here soon. So like any final thoughts or anything for whoever is watching here today? It doesn't matter if they're in the beginning stages, if they're kind of rethinking their business, or they've been in the business for a while. So we'll love to hear any final thoughts from you.
Yeah, I would just encourage you guys to listen to this closely and kind of what we went into. So first, decide your vision, but don't just think about it. A dream in the mind that you touch on every now and then is not a manifestation that's going to achieve later. You can't just be a dreamer. You actually have to believe the thought that you have is going to happen and act as if it's going to happen with the intent that it should happen throughout your life. And so pick a long-term goal that's one that's going to give you the life that you want. So first, have to ask yourself, will this even give me the life I want? And so you need to make sure that the avenue or vehicle you're choosing can get you there. So pick the vision and then build a belief system around it that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult it gets, no matter what adversities you have going into it, that you're going to push through and never stop until it happens. And then do the things necessary to be able to get there. Develop yourself out. So I'd start reading books on communication. I'd start understanding, how to plan your week and maximizing time management. And so a lot of leaders that I followed were Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, even modern leaders, Patrick Bet-Davids. You get a lot of guys like Alex Hormozy, Emma Letts, and all these individuals. So what I realized is if I don't have the skill sets or knowledge or wisdom, someone else does. So someone else has what you need. They either have money that you need to invest in your business that you can partner with. They either have the ideas or the experiences that came before you. So intensely pursue self-development and personal growth, because that's what got me here. Is just the continuous developing of myself. And then also focus on a strategy, something that's through preparation. A lot of people know that they want to work on their business, they want to work hard on the business, and they wake up and they're prepared to answer emails and calls all day, but that's a reactionary business. You should plan your day ahead of time. So if you have a strategy and a plan going in, you're going to save a lot of time, you're going to shortcut your path, and the thing that would take you 10 years to get to is going to happen in 3 years. And then I would say just understand that there's two sides of the mind, which is the knowledge and wisdom side, and then the mental endurance and adversity side. Over here, you have to have the skill sets, knowledge, and wisdom, but as you apply them and implement them in the world, that's when the adversity kicks back. And just understand that everybody fights adversity. Don't feel alone in your journey, because that's what happens. It feels very alone. It feels like the world's out to get you and everything's trying to stop you. And really, on a spiritual level, if we're not going into that, but that's really what's happening. They see that you're about to break through and have a great life, and the world wants you to hold you back, essentially, right? So random people are going to come and kind of put a wrench in your path and things like that. People are going to try to slow you down, get in your way, and put doubt in your mind. So just know that you're going to consistently go up against adversity, and it's going to be very lonely, and you're going to feel isolated. This is normal. This is where you have to show the world and show God that you're going to push through, and that as you push through that adversity, that's when the opening happens, the manifestation happens. And then the last thing is, you have to sacrifice. You're going to have to give up something. You're going to have to give up people in your life currently right now. You're going to have to give up patterns or habits that say that you guys, you need to work on your health. You have to have physical endurance. And some of you guys may have to give up eating habits, start going to the gym. You may have to give up relationships and get out of toxic relationships, seek new, more positive relationships. You may have to give up hobbies. So I was just talking about Amanda before here that the hobby that creates a lot of reduction of stress for me. And the thing that I do all the time is fishing. And since I've been on the road for hundreds of days this year, I'm not able to decompress and enjoy the thing that I enjoy most. But I want to hit a big goal. I'm trying to achieve something, and I run multiple businesses, and I'm trying to hit a goal in the evenings. And so I had to sacrifice my favorite thing to do for almost a year. And so I hardly get to do it. And so I know people want to hang out with friends. I know they want to go to the beach. I know you guys want to go play golf and do your hobbies and stuff like that. But sometimes it's not the hobby window of your life. It's the domination window of your life. And you get out there and you go and you hit your goals, and then you go back to your hobby, and your hobby is going to be more enjoyable. When you're on the golf course after you hit your big goal, it's going to feel a lot more fun than if you're sitting there playing golf and saying, man, I still haven't achieved what I want, and having doubts, because you're going to be like, why am I taking time off now? So sacrifice is the foundation of all results in life, because if we can't sacrifice what we currently have right now to attain more or to achieve more or open up a door for a relationship to come in, it's never going to happen. So some of you guys, the reason why you're not having your goals hit is because you're not willing to sacrifice. You don't want it bad enough. And you just got to get out there and decide what you want and what you're willing to give up to go get it. But that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
You guys get a few touching points right there. You're gonna figure out the rest from there.
Absolutely. I mean, like, this is like, you definitely need to rewind, listen slowly, take some notes, because this was gold. Thank you so much, Connor. As I said in the beginning, still is, 3.5 years later for me in here, so grateful. You are impacting so many lives, and I know that you know that, but I just wanted to say it out loud in here, and very grateful to be part of this amazing team. I am going to be putting all on the descriptions, where you can find Connor and see all the things that he's doing. And if there's ever any questions, about our group, about eXp, the Wolfpack, we are here. We will love to welcome you, because, as I said, this group, it is changing my life. So I appreciate you, and, see you soon in Miami.
Let's go. And you're doing great. I can't wait to see you there. And if you guys want to come out there and hang out with us, just let us know. We'll be down there in Miami. You're more than welcome to come hang out with the pack and come work with us.
Absolutely. Well, take care. We'll see you soon.